Welcome to the 716 Playbook, where every play counts. I hope you are all having a great evening, or if you're on the West Coast, I hope you're all having a great afternoon. Maybe you're stuck in rush hour traffic right now, and I appreciate that you're tuning in to the 716 Playbook and listening to me. Look, if this is the first time you're coming on the episode, thank you so much. I hope I don't scare you away. If you're a recurring watcher, I appreciate you coming on each and every week and supporting me. The last couple of weeks, I have been mulling over a lot of things for the show. Like I talked about last week, I've been kind of mulling over, what's the future of the show, and especially with the off season. I was going to slowly implement some things that I was thinking about, but why? I don't want to be late to the game. Nobody wants to be late to the game. So I'm going to be implementing a lot. I'm going to be talking about a lot of what the show's future is going to be tonight. So first and foremost, we are now live on Twitch, a huge platform to be going live on, and I hope that draws in more viewers. That is the hope, at least. Obviously, if you have been around for a while, you know what we're on. But if you don't, make sure you stay connected on YouTube, X, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok. And now we're on Threads as well, which is Instagram's version of X. You can find us at the 716 Playbook. There's also the Linktree link, as well as all the links to every single platform that we are on. Throughout the last couple of weeks, I've been thinking about what platform should we be on, and Threads is the new one. So I think for right now, we are done adding platforms. Maybe not. Who knows? I'm still mulling over the idea of being Instagram Live. There's a lot of things I want to make sure I can logistically do it each and every week, because there is some effort that I have to put into it before the actual live. That sounds really terrible. It's not that I don't want to put in the effort. There's a lot that goes into making sure I'm live. But the kind of the rundown of where I kind of see this going is moving forward. The 716 Playbook is more of a platform. It's not a show. This is the live show that we will do on the 716 Playbook platform each and every week on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is not changing. But throughout the week, there's been a lot of times where big things are happening and I can't talk about it. Whether that be the Bandits winning, whether that be the Bandits losing their first game, whether that be James Cook, whether that be off-season news for the NFL, just big things that affect the Buffalo sports realm. I'm getting to it very late, and nobody wants to be late. So I'm going to be doing more clips. If you guys have been seeing on the platforms, I have been posting shorts and clips of the episode. To kind of promote the episodes more. Well, that's done. That's going away. Because not only is the episode itself, is the content of the episode is already late, but not only that, but then the shorts are coming maybe even almost a week after the episode. So now it's almost 2 weeks late. So some of the content is very old. If you didn't know, a couple nights ago, I posted a clip from last week's episode talking about Josh Allen's MVP and his speech. That happened almost 2 weeks ago. So moving forward, we will not be doing that sort of layout. It's going to be way more casual as well. The clips are going to be more just me recording on my phone, kind of giving you a live reaction to the news. And if there's some really big things that are going to happen, I think I will just choose to randomly come in here, sit down, go live right here on my laptop, and just run with it and talk about it. If it's going to be something big, like a big trade that happens, a big loss, maybe in the playoffs, whatever, I want to be able to capture that live reaction for you. So moving forward with clips, it's going to be more day-to-day what's going on. And you'll be getting more content from me instead of just getting little clips from the episode that you've already watched. I hope that makes a lot of sense to you guys. Again, this show is just as much for you guys as it is for me. I love this. I take a lot of pride in researching what all the content for the episodes. But I still feel like I'm not doing you guys justice. If you're going to follow this platform, if you're going to follow me throughout the years, obviously there's going to be a lot of things that are going to change moving forward in the future. But for right now, I don't want to slowly implement any of this stuff. I think this is big things that can get a lot more viewers on a lot quicker. And that's the most important part. I want to make this as big as possible. I want to make sure that you guys are all in the loop. With that being said, I'm also making a new change as well. This will be the last episode that I talk about the University of Buffalo, period. If there is like a big thing that happens, like the football team wins the Bahama Bowl, the girls team goes to March Madness, something like that. If there's news to talk about, if it's big enough, I will talk about it. But that will be in a passing by sense. That will not be, I will not be breaking out segments for each episode. I just don't think it's worth it. No hate to University of Buffalo. I love UB. I have a lot of UB pride, but it's a lot. It's a lot to have to cover. And the University of Buffalo does not seem to be drawing in people. Again, if you disagree with that decision, please DM me, comment down below, let me know. I'm always open. And if there's a team that you guys want to listen to more or that want to hear more about, please let me know. If it's in the Buffalo area, I will do my research and I will at least give you some sort of content behind it. Again, if there's big news that happens in the UB world, I will talk about it, but I will not be breaking out segments anymore. This will be the last episode. Kind of give it a full wrap. But then moving forward, it's kind of over. Again, with the comment section, wherever you are, please make sure wherever you are that you are liking, you're subscribing, you're following all the accounts that you possibly can so that you get as many updates as you possibly can. Not only that, but if you're watching on YouTube or if you're watching on X, if you're watching on Twitch, make sure you have bell notifications on. As big news happens and I just go randomly live, or if I post a short of, because the Bandits, and let's say, for instance, the Bandits win a game and I go live with my reaction to the game, make sure you have bell notifications on so you get all those posts, all those live updates so you know what is happening. That'll be huge for you guys so that you guys can tune in or you at least know it's there. In the past, you just know that this is the episode to tune in Tuesday, 7 p.m. or watch it later on throughout the week. Again, you don't have to come on live. But if you're in the car, whatever you're doing, just make sure, you tune in, see what's going on with the Buffalo world. It would mean a lot to me if you do that. Now that I've done my big spiel, we can kind of get into the nitty-gritties of these teams. We're going to start off first and foremost with the smallest segment, the Buffalo Bison. All right, season starts in 38 days. It is also opening day for the Buffalo Bison. March 28th, we will be playing the Rochester Red Wings. I'm super, super excited, looking forward to that game. There's not much news about the offseason. Again, the season's not starting. If the MLB team, the Blue Jays that they're affiliated with, aren't making any changes, they're not going to be a lot of news. All right, there's usually add and drops, releases. They move up. That's really the offseason news for the Buffalo Bison. And again, there's not been much news to talk about. But in 38 short days, I will be able to give you content on what the games are looking like, what the record is, and what we're doing. Now, we're going to be talking about the Buffalo Bandits for the next couple minutes. Now, look, this is a bittersweet episode for the Bandits. It was a huge weekend, and I am super proud of these boys, all right? I don't want that to get lost in my analysis of the two games over the weekend, okay? But we will be talking about the Buffalo Bandits and their game or their games that just happened. So we played back-to-back games this past weekend against the Toronto Rock on Friday and the San Diego Seals on Saturday night. We beat the Rock, all right? But we unfortunately lost to the San Diego Seals. It'll be the first loss of the year. We are now 7-1, but we are still number one in the league. So I don't want that to get away from anybody. Tough games. Both of them are tough. Against the Rock, we were playing in Toronto, but because it's so close to Buffalo and the Bandits are on fire, there were more Bandits fans than there were Rock fans. The Rock are one of the worst teams in the league. Bandits are the best team in the league. Of course, they're going to draw more fans if they're that close. So all the Bandits fans that had passports, they just hopped in their car, drove right across the Peace Bridge, and they were there, and they were rooting on the Buffalo Bandits. We won 13-12. We made our record 7-0 after that night. We were down 5-0 at the end of the first quarter. That's insane. We were down 5-0. Honestly, I'm not even going to sugarcoat this one. It was a tough first quarter, very tough. Toronto scored first. They scored early on. Within 48 seconds of the start of the game, they had their first goal. After fighting hard within the second and third quarter, Buffalo tied at 7-7. Then Toronto ended up scoring twice within 8 seconds to open the fourth quarter, which made it 9-7. All right, so going into the fourth quarter, we are then 7-7 tied. Then they, in 8 seconds, were able to score twice. Unacceptable, boys. Unacceptable. Matt, Vince, I love you. I appreciate what you're doing in Buffalo. But something switched. The first 4 games, we were allowing like 7 points, and now we're averaging, over 13. There's something weird going on, something not clicking. So, last like 5 games, we've been doing like 13 points to the opponents. Unacceptable. Look, not every game is the same though. Again, I'm going to give, like I said, I love my boys. They are doing great things, but it's very unfortunate, that we were down 5-0 to start the game. The Rock scored and they made it 10-9, but shortly after, the Bandits were able to score 4 times, make it 13-10. Toronto tried to come back at the end of the fourth quarter, but Vince was able to hold on and we won 13-12. Vince, you showed up when it mattered. That's what I appreciate, and we won the game. Bandits ended up doing a not-so-savory thing, and they started touting their win in front of their away team fans. Well, because it was all Bandit fans, they felt like they could. Well, Toronto took that as a huge disrespectful move on the Bandits' part, and a big fight broke out, and including the assistant coach of the Toronto Rock, who ended up choking the general manager of the Bandits. Just reached right across the bench and just started choking them. Absolutely despicable on the assistant coach's end of the Rock. You are there to lead your team. You're not there to incite violence to the opponents, the away team that's coming into your stadium. Yes, I will give you this. Buffalo should not have touted their win in front of the fans like they did. But at the same time, I don't believe that you should ever fight that with choking somebody. So I really hope that the league does something about the assistant coach, because that is unacceptable. Now, moving into the Seals game, this was another tough game. It went into overtime. The Seals were able to score, breaking the Bandits' undefeated streak. 14-13 was the final score. So San Diego came out hot. All right. By the end of the first quarter, they were up 4-1. Again, we were just very slow at the start. We were not coming out quick enough. San Diego, they were able to come out hot in the second quarter as well. They scored right off. I believe within like 15 seconds, they were able to score. However, we were able to respond back in a minute and score a quick pair of goals. So look, I'm glad that we were able to answer back quickly. But still, at this point, you're still down like 5-3. So, after going back and forth with goals, Connor Farrell on the Bandits, he won the faceoff, went right for the goal, and scored his first ever career NLL goal. And he tied the game 6-6. Then you have the Seals, they score again, and then they made it 8-6 at the half. All right. In the opening of the third quarter, the Bandits and the Seals both scored twice to make it a 10-8. But obviously the Seals had the upper advantage. Buffalo was able to score off a penalty. Buchanan, he was able to score on a 1-on-1. We tied the game 10-10. All right, and then San Diego made it 11-10. They score 1 minute later. Then the Bandits score, and they're going back and forth. And finally, we're sitting at a score of 13-10 Buffalo. However, within the last 5 minutes of the game, the Seals were able to tie the game with a goal to tie the game at 5 seconds left. So with 5 seconds left on the clock, the Bandits gave up a score, which put the score tied. Then, the game goes into overtime, 5 minutes into overtime. The Seals score and they win. Look, both games, this is what I'm going to say, terrible beginnings. It's all about how you come out. It's all about the precedents that you set. It's all about you making your presence known quickly, and they didn't do that. Look, we were just down way too many scores. It causes us to have to fight back, right? So they are defending a 5-score lead against like the Rock. They're defending a 5-score lead. Luckily, we came back and won, but now you're using so much manpower. You're keeping starters out there longer just to get the game tied. You're never getting a comfortable lead, and then when you finally do, you almost blow it. There's just, it's a never-ending cycle for the Bandits to kind of get out of the mindset, walking into games, especially the last two, that you just we got this. Yes, you do. But you still have to make your presence known. You still can't give up 5 goals in the first quarter to the Toronto Rock. Look, this is what I'll say, that the team was tired by the end of the game. And then it goes into overtime, so they're exhausted. It allowed for easy points for the opponents. It allowed for defense to slip up. It allowed for offense not to get good plays. And that's exactly what we saw. Now, look, we play again on Saturday against the Seals in San Diego. Hopefully we can go and beat them, in San Diego, since they just beat us in Buffalo. Kind of ruined their homecoming off the road trip that they just had. That's what I'm hoping. But I hope that we can beat them in front of their home crowd. You never want to lose at home. And it kind of stings this game, to lose in overtime, to make that hard fight, come back at home and then lose in overtime. It's just hard. It's very hard. It's a hard pill to grasp, hard pill to swallow. But this is the game. This is the NLL. This is the NLL. It's a competitive league. It is. It's a hugely competitive league. There's injuries constantly. There's things that are happening. It's changing up constantly. So again, got to give all my love and support to the Bandits. I will not, never going to say anything bad about them. I will give them my constructive criticism. But hey, honestly, I feel more comfortable going into the playoffs with a loss than I do undefeated. The chances of them going undefeated all the way to the championship winning is to me, it's very hard to believe. You almost have to lose a game to know your weakness, to know what to work on. And that is my optimism showing. And that's hopefully what this game was for them. All right. So now, with a heavy heart, I will be opening up this segment for the last time, the University of Buffalo. All right. Women's basketball team. We only played them once. We only played once in the last week. It was on Saturday night against Ohio University. We won. All right. We're still sitting at number 2 in the conference. We are 9-3 in the conference, 20-4 overall. We are at 20 wins for the season, and we still have 6 games left. Just to kind of jog your memory, if you're a UB fan, last time the women's basketball team sat at 20 wins, it was 1993-94. We can make history this year with the most wins in a single season. Unfortunately, Ball State is deciding to just be great this year. So our chances of March Madness are slowly dwindling. Ball State is still at number 1. It's not budging. They are 12-0 in the conference, 20-5 overall. They have the same amount of wins on the season, but they are undefeated in the conference. That over trumps anything else. So unfortunately, it's not impossible, but we need some of the Ball State opponents to kind of come out hard. I'm hoping that's what happens. I don't know. With the Ohio University game, kind of breaking that game down, we won 79-67. We led the first quarter 20-17, and we were able to outscore them the rest of the game as well. We held the lead the entire second half. These girls fought hard. We had 4 girls on the Bulls that scored double digits. All right. And Watson had a game high 21-point game. All right. So I am proud of these girls for this game. The next game we play is at Kent State tomorrow. It'll be away. It'll be at 6 p.m. Eastern time. And it's actually not away. I completely misread that. It will be in Buffalo. Kent State is in our conference. They are 4th in the conference. They're 8-4, 16-9. We'll see what happens there. Again, I'm not going to be going week to week with the University of Buffalo. If something ends up happening, women's team somehow goes on a rampage and Ball State loses, I will 100% talk about it. But it'll be coming in passing. I will not be breaking out segments to talk about this. Now, when it comes to the men's basketball team, what a shame this team is. We beat Northern Illinois University, but we lost against Bowling Green. We are still number 11 in the conference. We are 3-9 in the conference, 8-17 overall. We're just getting destroyed. We beat NIU 73-67. Great. We were able to, they outscored us in the second half. We were able to hold them, but it was kind of back and forth. We were able to hold them off. We were able to win. Tyson Dunn was the big part of that game. He led 22 points, 4 assists, 8 rebounds. If it wasn't for him, this game, I'm watching it. I'm thinking to myself, if we didn't have Tyson, it would be over. We lost against Bowling Green 63-59. This game was hard to watch. Because these boys, they just they just kind of crumble up into each other. It's hard. Tyson led in 3-point. He had 3 3-pointers. That was the most in the game for the Bulls. But unfortunately, Tyson had massive foul trouble early on, and we didn't see him for most of the game. When you're coming off a 22-point game and then you can't play the next game because of foul trouble, that hurts us. That hurts us a lot. It was kind of back and forth at the end. They made it a 2. We were within 2 points, and then they just kind of took it away, and that was it. It was hard because you had some kind of hope, but again, it was quickly short-lived, and then it was over. The men's basketball team is playing right now against Western Michigan. Western Michigan is right above us in the conference, so it is a winnable game for the boys. And I'm going to see what that game looks like right now, because I'm kind of curious to see. It'll be it's 19-10, so we are down 9 points already. We are not even 10 minutes into the game. I will tune back at the end of the episode to see what the score is, but not looking good. Not looking good for the men's basketball team. Hopefully they can come back. Unfortunately, this team needs to start focusing on next year. Needs to focus on the transfer portal. Needs to focus on what they're going to do when it comes to playing defense is a huge part. It's obviously not offense. You're putting up 22 points. You have 8 rebounds, a couple offensive rebounds for Tyson Dunn alone. That's great. Build around him. But besides that, scratch the team, look at the transfer portal, see what else we can do. All right. We are now going to move into the Sabres segment. Not much going on. We are currently on a break for the bye. We play again on Saturday, but we are 22-27-5. We are back down to 0.9% chance of making the playoffs. Not the worst odds, but a miracle is going to have to happen in order for us to win this game. In order for us to win half the games and then go to the playoffs, it's very hard to believe that we could do that. It's not impossible, but I have a hard time believing it. Is it plausible? Yes. We won 4 straight games. It's very, very plausible. Is it going to happen? I don't know. I don't know. Some of the NHL trade deadline is March 7th. So some news that is breaking out. The Kings have inquired about Alex Tuck. Have no idea what that would look like. The Sabres could potentially use Jason Zucker in a blockbuster trade. Why we would ever trade Jason Zucker is beyond me, because there's also news breaking out that the Sabres are working to get an extension for Jason Zucker. So kind of flip-flop news there. Either we use Jason Zucker for a better player, even though Zucker has been doing great for us, or we extend him. So you either trade him or you extend him. Well, great. That's the 2 options anyway, or you release him. So we'll see what happens there. It's going to be interesting to see if the GM can surprise us, if he can surprise me, because I have little to no faith in this GM. You might think that's harsh, but he has done not a lot this entire season. Since the start of the season, he's not been doing much. Because we're on a break, our next game will be on Saturday. It's going to be in Buffalo against the New York Rangers. So they had 2 weeks to rest up for this game. Hopefully they can come out with a win. They're going to need to if they want to make the playoffs. Again, like I said, it's not impossible, but the plausibility is very low. So we will see about the Sabres moving forward after they're done their bye on Saturday. Look, Saturday is going to be a great opportunity if we beat the Rangers for our chances to go up in the playoffs. And maybe, just maybe, you'll see a video, a short clip of Kyle all excited with his phone like this, just shouting up and down in the Sabres gear, saying, hey, if we can go past the Sabres, if we can go past the Rangers, we can move forward. Maybe, who knows? But again, just kind of giving you guys a little bit of excitement for the future of this show, of this platform, what this would look like. All right. We are now moving into the best segment of the night, in my opinion, the Buffalo Bills. Moving into this segment, before I do, going to give a rundown. I have a couple more, people on right now watching the show. So again, just giving you guys a rundown. The show platform will be changing. We're going to keep the same one long live episode every Tuesday at 7 p.m. But when it comes to throughout the week, I'm going to be doing more clips. I'm getting rid of the clips of the video. You will no longer see clips of this video. No more. These videos, if you want to watch the content, you need to go watch the video. I am no longer doing clips of this. Instead, though, I will be doing clips daily of what's going on in the sports world for Buffalo, maybe even what's going on in the NFL world that is that's kind of interfering with the Bills. I will be talking about all of that, breaking that down little by little. And then on top of that, we'll be doing if there's big trades, big releases, big signings, big games, whatever, you're going to get my live reaction right here in the studio. I will be coming right on in. I'm going to hit live. I'm just going to go for it. There's going to be no scheduling. It's just going to be here's my honest live reaction of what's going on. Take it or leave it. That will hopefully draw on more viewers. Again, if you don't know, I'm now going live on Twitch. It's a new platform to bring in more viewers, as well as we are now on Threads. So, we are politically unbiased here. If you don't like Elon Musk, that is A-okay. You can just tune on into Threads, which is Instagram's version or Meta's version of X. You'll get the same content right there as well. Again, we are one big family. I do not care about your political biasism. Just don't bring it into the comment section. And that's a great way to transition into the comment section. Please utilize the comment section. If you're currently watching, please use the comment section wherever you are. If you're on YouTube and you don't know how to, if it's not letting you comment, it means you're not signed in. So please sign in, comment. The comments can be anything. You can talk about anything that you possibly would like, anything that you want, as long as you're kind and respectful. Don't make it political. I don't want any politics in the comment section. But if it has to do with the Buffalo sports, I want you to comment on it. If it's just a general thought, if it's something you think, if I said something you disagree with it, put it in the comments. If a question you have that you want me to answer, please put it in the comments. Anything possible that you think would be worthy of comments. If you want to talk to each other, please post in the comments. And if I don't see your comments, please go follow one of my platforms on X, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, wherever, YouTube. Direct message me right through that platform and say, hey, you missed my comment. I'll go right back in. I'll see it. I'll make sure that I copy it down and I'll address it in the next week's episode. Okay. I might even use it as an opportunity to go live right then and there, or post a clip and just address the comment. That's just a possibility of where this show might go. Okay. Now that I'm done plugging my own show, we are going to add a new little interesting food for thought. So a little transitioning into the Bills segment. We're going to little food for thought. So with the Eagles winning the Super Bowl, very cool kind of food for thought. Carson Wentz played a huge role in the Eagles winning the Super Bowl years ago. Okay. Yes, he wasn't the quarterback that won in the Super Bowl, but he did help the team get there. Okay. Howie Roseman, the GM for the Eagles, was so good at maneuvering that trade when he traded Carson Wentz that I just want to break down for you the players that came out of Carson Wentz. Okay. When Carson Wentz was traded, Howie Roseman was able to use the players, the trades, and the picks to get Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Cooper DeJean, and Jalen Carter. Think about that. You traded Carson Wentz, somebody who was just a seasonal quarterback for you, didn't play in the playoffs, and you got Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Cooper DeJean, and Jalen Carter, 4 dominant players on the Eagles. Primary reason why you all won the Super Bowl this year. And you got those guys based off the trade from Carson Wentz. Not only is Howie Roseman the GM of the decade, that's the craziest food for thought that I could possibly think about. That's pretty cool. That's a cool way to transition us into the Bills segment. But if you're an Eagles fan watching this, thank you for tuning in. But I just kind of the next time you get mad because Howie Roseman doesn't give the pick that you want or trade the player that you want, I would trust the process. The Sixers are doing it. Sixers fans are trusting the process. You might want to trust the process because Howie Roseman knows what he's talking about. That is insane work from a GM. And it makes me proud as a Bills fan to see that because that helped beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. So great things coming from the Eagles franchise. Anyway, moving into the Bills segment. All right, so we now know the home and away teams for next year's schedule. Obviously, we always play the Dolphins, Jets, and Patriots 2 times, one at home, one at away. That's because they're in our division. When it comes to the home teams, we are going to be playing the Ravens, the Bengals, the Saints, the Buccaneers, the Chiefs, and the Eagles all at home. I'll break that down for you. We're going to be playing the Ravens at home, the Bengals, so that's Joe Burrow at home, the Saints, okay, the Buccaneers with Baker Mayfield, the Chiefs, which is just a common enemy, and then the Eagles, the Super Bowl champions. Our away teams are, now listen to our away teams, Pittsburgh, Atlanta, Carolina, Cleveland, and Houston. Well, based off of what we already know from the offseason, the away teams are not going to be that hard. Atlanta might be the hardest. Pittsburgh is in whatever mode they're in right now. If you're a Pittsburgh fan watching, please do not be upset with me. But I have a hard time believing that we're going to lose against Pittsburgh. I have a hard time believing we're going to lose against Carolina or Cleveland or Houston, especially what I'm hearing coming out of Houston. I just have a hard time believing that we will lose to any of those teams. They're all on the eastern side, so we're not traveling across the country for any of these games. Atlanta will be the hardest game, in my opinion, because I think that they're an up-and-coming team. They just got rid of Kirk Cousins. There's going to be some changes coming in. That's probably the biggest thing that I can think about. But besides that, for our away schedule, that should be a no-brainer. That should be an easy. Now, when it comes to the home games, that's going to be tough. It's going to be up to the fans, that 12th player mentality to make a factor, where he just came off of an undefeated season at home. Can we do it again? Can we do it again going up against the Ravens, the Bengals, the Saints, the Buccaneers, the Chiefs, the Eagles? I think we can beat any of those teams. If you're a fan of any of those teams, also know this. I think you could beat the Bills. But it has to do with the fact that we are at home. That certifies my belief as a Bills fan that we will beat the Ravens, the Bengals, the Saints, the Buccaneers, the Chiefs, and the Eagles. Hardest teams that we're going to play, in my opinion, are the Ravens and the Eagles. Bengals, I think, are going to be kind of a wash. I just think that's going to depend on it's going to all depend on what happens with the offseason. The Saints, I think that's going to be an easy win, especially with their new coach, Kellen Moore. I think that'll be an easy win. Buccaneers, that's hearsay. Baker Mayfield, whether or not he wants to show up that game is whether or not we can, what's the scale on winning that game. Chiefs, common foe. We beat them every season in the regular season. Had no fear. Hopefully we can beat them twice next year, once in the season, once in the playoffs. And the Eagles will be probably our toughest matchup. That defensive line is just insane. But our offensive line is insane, so who knows? Realistically, for my prediction for this upcoming season, you guys are going to laugh. 15-2. Buffalo just keeps getting better. And in my opinion, we're only going to get better, especially with this offseason. I think there's going to be a lot of surprises that are going to happen, especially with what I hear coming out. But I even think there's a chance to go 16-1. Do I think we're going to be undefeated? No. I think there's going to be a couple times that there's going to be a couple. If we lose twice this season, upcoming season, it won't be against the Eagles. It won't be against the Chiefs. It's going to be up against the easy teams, the easy wins we're going to lose against. I have a hard time believing that we're going to lose against the hard teams because for some reason Buffalo comes out with a harder mentality with the hard teams. But when it comes to like a Houston game, a Cleveland game, the Carolina, that worries me a lot. That sounds so weird because that's an easy win, but because it's so easy, I have a hard time believing it's not going to be an upset win. especially when it's away. We played Carolina away. Who knows? Maybe they have enough momentum. Maybe they're in a predicament where they need to win or their head coach is gone. That's a lot of momentum in boys that want to play for their coach. That could be a possibility. But again, I'm just spitballing here. But again, 15-2 is my realistic prediction. I could be so wrong. I could be dead wrong. But again, very well could be the best season for Buffalo. We could have a couple upsets on the road, but we do very well in Orchard Park. That's where I'm going to end this. Now, when it comes to the Bills news rumors, okay, I announced a couple weeks ago that Tommy Doyle was retiring. He is officially retired for medical reasons. He tore his ACL twice. Tommy Doyle was an offensive lineman. He actually scored his one and only touchdown in his career from Josh Allen. It was in 2022. It was against the Patriots. It was an end zone, a trick play. Throw it to the O-line who, was eligible. Much love for Tommy Doyle. A lot of heart there. It's hard. Buffalo has a hard, because it's so cold in Buffalo too. Buffalo has a hard time with injuries. Tearing your ACL twice at 26. I get the reasoning for a medical retirement. So Bills have been confirmed to have inquired about Myles Garrett. That is not really a shocker. I've been talking about this for weeks now. This is not a shocker. Multiple players on the Buffalo Bills have been talking about getting him over. The Browns seem to be holding off on whether or not they even want to trade Myles Garrett. That's huge news. That will kind of come later on. So real quick. All right. From a comment, look at this. This is what happens if you comment. I will show it up on the screen and I will talk about it. So from Mr. Hops, thank you so much. What key roster moves or strategic adjustments should the Buffalo Bills make this offseason to improve their defense and better compete for a Super Bowl? Wow. What a question. All right. I have a couple key pieces here. Biggest thing, get rid of DeMar Hamlin, or at least don't let him start. He can be a good role person, but here's another problem. If we're keeping Taron Johnson, it's going to force us to play in the nickel because we can't play a 4-3. It's very hard with Taron Johnson because just the way he plays on the field, he fits in with a nickel. With that being said, if we keep Taron Johnson, you have to keep Matt Milano. That's most likely what's going to end up happening when it comes to cap space reasoning. I just have a hard time believing that the defense will change as much as we want it to change. Now, when it comes to look what happened in the Super Bowl. The defensive line is what made that game. The Bills need to focus on their D-line. Our D-line isn't awful, but it's not great at all. It's really not great. The pressures that we're getting. Now, a Myles Garrett opens up opportunities not just for himself, but for the rest of the line. Or a Max Crosby, again, opens up. So Myles Garrett opens up more holes than Max Crosby does. Max Crosby is the hole filler. Okay. Myles Garrett is the hole creator. Okay. So Myles Garrett is going to create tough holes. He's just how big he is. He's going to create big pockets for us to drive in and put pressure on the QB. It opens up the door for Ed Oliver. Ed Oliver isn't leaving. And actually, I'm going to check this real quick. Thank you. Actually, I appreciate this because I would have completely forgot about this. So Ed Oliver currently is the third largest cap hit for the Bills. You're not getting rid of him. Okay. When it comes to like Matt Milano, he's the fifth. So you have Ed Oliver and you have Matt Milano being the fifth at $15 million a year. It's hard for me to believe that we're going to be able mathematically, financially, to get rid of a Matt Milano. It's not going to happen. Yes, he's injury prone. If he's not injury prone, nope. Like we saw in the playoffs, he was electric. He was everything we needed him to be and more. The way that we were able to utilize Matt Milano on a QB spy, that opens up the entire defense, okay? Because now you no longer have to worry about the quarterback. The D-line no longer has to worry about the quarterback. Yes, they're going to push for him, but when Matt Milano, who is probably one of the fastest defenders in the league, is constantly spying out the quarterback or spying out the runner, that just opens up for a huge range for the quarterback to be able to kick out of the pocket, try to run, and Matt Milano is right there on him. Okay, so Matt Milano's not leaving. When you want to focus on like a cornerback, Benford's staying. You're going to sign an extension to him. He's still on a rookie contract. I'm going to slow down a little bit. I'm just so passionate right now about this because there's so much flowing. Offense is not the change that we need. Defense is. But when it comes to defense, I don't think it's strategic to drop the safety, the cornerback, to drop Matt Milano, to drop Von. You can't get rid of everybody. It just isn't. It's not good for chemistry, but it's also not good in the sense of there needs to be a level of coaching that needs to be addressed too. Tackling needs to be addressed. So look, Mr. Hops, when it comes to key roster moves or strategic adjustments, we're going to play nickel. We're going to keep Taron Johnson. So when it comes to the defense, I see maybe one safety change. I see one cornerback change. It's probably going to be Rasul Douglas, but then I also see one lineman change. And the lineman, it might be two. So if we were able to trade, I don't think Von Miller is smart financially to release him. We might. I don't think it's smart of us to, because we don't capitalize on that cap space until next year. We actually lose money this year. So if we were able to trade Von Miller instead of releasing him, what this would open up for is more of a possibility of dropping Von Miller off the line, putting Myles Garrett there. You have a potential to either, have faith in Rousseau, which I do, or you pick up somebody else for the D-line. But again, like we saw in the Super Bowl, the D-line, they make the way for the entire defense. You put enough pressure on a quarterback, they can't throw accurately, which opens up the room for cornerbacks, opens up the room for linebackers, it even opens up the room for safeties to be able to come in and catch picks, deflect balls, and if we get enough pressure, you can even sack quarterbacks, sack runners. So that's huge. But that's really the answer I have. Again, it's the cap space is what's going to kill us. Josh Allen most likely is going to get an extension, but with the extension, he might not get as much money. Von Miller is the second biggest cap hit at $23 million. We need to do something about it, and we need to do something about it quickly. Von Miller is killing us when it comes to money. We get rid of Von Miller, you paved the way for so much. Honestly, you get rid of Von Miller, there's a possibility of being able to not only get Myles Garrett, there's a possibility of even picking up somebody like Max Crosby, to fit the other side of the line. That would be a deadly line. That would obviously that's a lot that goes into that. But also, you could even think about there's a kid on Jair Alexander from the Packers. That's another big thing. Again, cornerback change. If you drop Rasul Douglas, which I think we should move on from him, I think it's time for us to walk away from Rasul Douglas. I think he fit his purpose. We're no longer there. Okay, goodbye. Replace him with a Jair Alexander. Yes, again, he's injury prone. He's been, unfortunately, he's been injured multiple times. But it looks more and more like the Packers want to get rid of him. So again, you fit him at a cornerback spot. Who when he's in the game, he's amazing. Then you have a defensive line like Myles Garrett, Rousseau, Ed Oliver, and even if you have Foreman on a line, you have Foreman on the line. You could even fit in. Rotating or even starting Max Crosby. Again, that's all hearsay. But if you cut Von Miller, if you get rid of that huge chunk of money, and you even were able to reduce Matt Milano's contract, that paved the way for a lot of money to come in to sign some other big guys. Again, offense isn't that big of a. I don't think offense needs to be changed that much. A couple of adjustments and we'll be fine. But thank you so much, Mr. Hops. I hope that answered the question for you. So now we're going to move on to James Cook. This is going to eat up a little bit of time because I just want to open this door for you. If you haven't heard already, and this is a prime example, James Cook, this happened last week. This happened like Wednesday or Thursday. Again, can't talk about it until today. That's just not. When this broke out, I should have 100% gone live right here on Thursday night and just went off. Talked about it, had some of you guys come in, and just talk about it in the comment section, talk to me about it. That would have opened the door a lot because James Cook is stirring the pot right now. And he's acting like another player who used to play for the Buffalo Bills, who remain nameless. But that player has since been, ex-nayed to the Texans. That's enough information for you. If it's not, Stephon Diggs. Okay. James Cook is acting like Stephon Diggs is. James Cook is demanding $15 million a year So James Cook, next year, his contract is over. He wants a contract extension. Great. I want a contract extension with James Cook. I think he's great. He just surpassed O.J. Simpson with the most touchdown passes in a single Bills season. Great. He deserves money. He deserves an extension. Saquon Barkley is sitting at $12 million. Derrick Henry is sitting at $8 million. And you think you deserve more than Saquon Barkley? James Cook, respectfully enough, you don't. You might be sitting at a $10 million. You might be sitting at $10 million. Maybe a year. I would even be conservative enough to say James Cook doesn't deserve more than $8 million a year. So James Cook is now demanding $15 million. And when I say demanding, you say, okay, well, he still has a year on his contract. He's not going to be that big of a baby. He loves Buffalo. Right. That's what I would thought too. No, instead, James Cook has changed his profile picture on social media. It used to be of a Bills uniform. Now it's him in straight clothes. He's deleted all Buffalo-related posts from all social media accounts. He's got his brother, Dalvin Cook, who used to be a running back for the NFL, going on sports shows saying that his brother deserves $20 million a year. Again, Christian McCaffrey, who signed the biggest contract for running back in history, signed $19 million a year. So you're saying he deserves more than Christian McCaffrey. This is a rumor that's not confirmed. Everything else is confirmed. This is not confirmed. James Cook will request a trade if he does not get the money he wants. And if they don't trade him, they wait the year and they say, okay, at the end, then you can go sign in free agency. He is threatening to hold out from training camp, off-season events, and all practices, and would even potentially dip into the season if he doesn't want to play for us. I want him gone. In my opinion, Buffalo is for players that love the game and love the city, not the money. I just sat here it's about to get real passionate. I just sat here last week and talked about Josh Allen taking multiple restructure deals to be able to sign other players on. And you have James Cook acting like a baby, demanding more money than Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry. So you got him demanding more money, changing his profile picture, requesting a trade if he doesn't get what he wants, holding out if he doesn't get traded. That's the complete opposite of a Buffalo Bill mentality, period. So in my opinion, if he would have asked for $50 million and we would have offered $10 million or whatever, that's fine. Okay. And that might very well be what his strategy is here, is to just like talk a big game because he wants more money. Cool. The way he's going about it is a disgrace to Western New York, to the fans, and to the team. You have Josh Allen doing everything he possibly can for this team. Taking money cuts when Josh Allen deserves to be paid the most. And yet you have Josh Allen taking pay cuts, taking restructure deals to make sure that we can fit in other guys to come on and play for Buffalo. And you got James Cook, who is so much of a disgrace right now that he's willing to jeopardize not only chemistry, jeopardize locker room, because I mean that's a big effect in the locker room. You have guys now who have to sit back and watch this happen, have to deal with this drama. We saw how the Bills reacted to Stephon Diggs and the drama that led, with demanding that he be a wide receiver one. Now you have James Cook who's demanding to be one of the most paid running backs in the league. In my opinion, it has nothing to do with the money that he's asking of why I want him gone. It has to solely do with this fact that if this is how you're going to act. Who's to say you're not going to act like this in the middle of the game? Who's to say this isn't how you're going to react in the locker room? Who's to say this isn't how you've already reacted? If this is how you're reacting to money, I would hate to be in the locker room to see him after the Chiefs game, okay, or see him after the Ravens game. We didn't utilize James Cook properly against the Chiefs. I would love to know James Cook's opinion on that, because I have a strong feeling that he made that. Clearly, he's making his voice heard now. So he probably made his voice heard then. That affects the locker room. That affects a lot of drama. That just affects a lot. So in my opinion, this is not doing justice for Western New York. And I have multiple opinions and feelings about it. But I'm going to just end it there. It's over. Done. Okay. If I was Brandon Beane, the GM, I would just say, you know what, Cook, we don't need you. Goodbye. We're now going to give more money to Ty Johnson. We're now going to extend Ray Davis. We don't need you. We have Reggie Gillen. We can pull out from a fullback. Goodbye. And guess what? I would be A-okay with it. I got Josh Allen at the helm. You think I'm scared of losing James Cook? No. Give me a break. All right. Now that I've gone off for the episode, let's move into other news for the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills have shown interest in Davante Adams, and they are currently the number one team to pick him up. Again, that is cool, but I don't think we need Davante Adams. He's older. He's not doing the same thing as he used to do on Green Bay, and his stunt with the Jets only lasted so long. The Bills are debating trading Curtis Samuel. That's huge news. I would love to see where that goes. We would save $4 million in cap space if we were able to do that. And the Bills could save a lot of money if we released Von Miller. Again, all those things. Actually, we would. The Bills would save a lot of money if we traded Von Miller. The Bills wouldn't save that much money this season if we release Von Miller. Von Miller signed 6 years. We still, I think, have 2 years left. So there's still a possibility of releasing him, taking the cut this year, taking that weight this year, and then relieving it for next year. All depends on what Brandon Beane has for the future. All right, now we're going to move on to some NFL news and rumors. This is a good way to wrap up this episode. I'm so grateful for all of you that have tuned in. Again, make sure, if you haven't already, you make sure you have all bell notifications on for all platforms so you know when I'm going live, because I will now randomly be going live throughout the week, as well as I'll be posting shorts and clips throughout all the platforms. Please, 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 please. And I'll be posting updates about all things that are happening. So if I'm at work, if I'm on my lunch break, or I'm out and I can't go live, what I'll do is I'll at least post an update, doing something so you guys know what's going on until I'm able to go live and talk about it, or I'm able to post a 2-minute clip of what's going on and post it. Again, the more that you have, the more platforms you're on, the more that you're subscribing, you're liking, and you're interacting, you're commenting, the better it is for the show, better it is for viewership. So please, that is the biggest thing that is in your control, not in my control. All right. Moving on to some NFL news and rumors. Travis Kelce is rumored to be contemplating retirement, but the Chiefs would like him back. The difference is the position he'd be in is very different. They want him in a reduced role, so probably more of like a figurehead or a supporting cast. He wouldn't be, their starting tight end anymore. The Chiefs did give Kelce a deadline March 13th, since Kelce has a lot of cap space on the team, and there's a lot of decisions for tight ends. The trade opens up a couple days after that. They want to know what to do before they make decisions. So if Travis Kelce is coming back or not to play, they want to be able to make decisions based off of that. All right. On top of that, the Jets have decided, this makes me so happy, the Jets have decided to release Aaron Rodgers this offseason. It is not official, but it will happen sometime this offseason. It has been confirmed. Sources say that Aaron Rodgers pleaded with the Jets to let him stay, but the Jets will save $55 million in cap space to move on from not only Rodgers, but from Davante Adams as well. That was the biggest disappointment in Jets history. Par for the course for a Jets fan. If you're a Jets fan watching this, I apologize. I was at the game with my dad when Aaron Rodgers tore his ligament and he was out for the rest of the season. That was a hard blow. He was supposed to come on, and honestly, if it wasn't for an injury, I think they would have been able to do something. But it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate that with the offense and the defense that they have, the Jets have been able to capitalize on zero, no playoff appearances, and nothing to show for it. I'm sorry if you're a Jets fan, that's painful. But as a Bills fan, it makes me happy to know that that's one less thing I have to worry about in the division. I would love to see what they do with the new coach, with what they're going to do at the quarterback. Probably look at the draft if you're a Jets fan for quarterback. But there's been other news for the Jets as well, what they're looking into and who they want. Now, when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, the world is his oyster. Every team that's looking for a quarterback would love him on their team, especially the Colts. The Colts are handling kind of a situation with Anthony Richardson right now, and they want to bring in some competition for Anthony Richardson to kind of play better. And bringing in Aaron Rodgers would be great, because not only would it bring in competition for Anthony Richardson, but if they keep Anthony Richardson, which they probably will, at the starting QB spot, it would cause for kind of like a veteran help to kind of help mentor Anthony Richardson, since this will be his second year in the league. Anthony Richardson had a kind of a spat this year. He kind of took himself out of a game because he got tired. This ain't college ball anymore, kids. Start playing. So interesting to see what happens there. The Bengals, some news happening outside of the Bengals. They're seeking to sign T. Higgins to a long-term deal. Apparently, the Patriots were rumored to be very heavily pressed on T. Higgins. They want to make him their wide receiver one. I don't blame them. T. Higgins is a monster. And if Drake May and T. Higgins could team up together, that offense would be great. So the Patriots want to push hard for T. Higgins in the offseason. So the Bengals want to give him as much money as possible, make him a franchise tag if they need to. This also comes after a report that the Chargers and T. Higgins were in communications. So again, Bengals are feeling a little threatened, and they need to make change. They need to act on it quickly. When it comes to rumors about the Jaguars and the Steelers, there's been communications about Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence has put all of that rest to bed. He said that is not true. He's happy in Jacksonville. He will not be going to Pittsburgh. Okay, well, buddy, it's not up to you. The GM wants to trade you. He's trading you. I don't care what you say in an interview. I don't care if you say, oh, it's all, hogwash. Great. Players talk, but GMs are louder. They get to make the final say. And, buddy, your time in Jacksonville might be over. You might be going to Pittsburgh. Now, what that leaves for Pittsburgh, especially with Justin Fields, I have no idea. It would make no sense in my head why you'd sign Trevor Lawrence, especially if you have Justin Fields. And apparently Aaron Rodgers has been connected to the Steelers as well. I have no idea what this offseason holds for any of those teams, but that is just some rumors coming out. Sources say that the Seahawks are planning on releasing wide receiver Tyler Lockett. That's disappointing after many years with Tyler Lockett. That's sad to see him go, but that opens him up to kind of go somewhere else this free agency. Multiple teams obviously are inquiring about Myles Garrett, including the Bills. The Commanders and Eagles have also inquired about him. And Justin Jefferson just went online and made his opinion known for why he would want Myles Garrett in Minnesota. Every player on every team wants Myles Garrett right now. So again, I really hope he comes to Buffalo. I hope we can make it happen. When it comes to Jair Alexander, the team and him have been in communications about kind of moving on from each other. They're both kind of frustrated. The Packers haven't been able to get much out of him because he keeps getting injured, and he's frustrated because he keeps getting injured. Well, buddy, if you don't want to get injured, maybe don't come to Buffalo because that's the team to come and get injured at. For some reason, we have so many injuries on defense. The chances of him getting injured on defense probably are more likely than him even being on Green Bay. But I'd love to see him in a Bills uniform. That'd be great, especially if he's healthy. Again, I already kind of went over all that, though. 49ers are expected to release Deebo Samuels post June 1st. That has been confirmed, saving them some cap space. He's had a lot of drop passes, and his performance is kind of lacking this season. Super exciting for the Bills to kind of be able to pick him up if possible, get him on a small. I don't pay much for Deebo Samuels, but if we can get him as a rotating wide receiver, that would be great, especially if we lose Amari Cooper. Eli Manning is interested in purchasing part of the Giants. That's just cool news. Eli Manning, ex-quarterback for the Giants. Something to look forward to, something to look at when it comes to franchise heads. There's so much more. Justin Tucker, I'm not going to get into the specifics, but he has some allegations against him, specifically 17 allegations currently against him. Ravens already don't know what they were going to do with him. They kind of confirmed before the allegations came out that they were going to keep him, especially he's had a very inconsistent year. It's hard for me to believe now after all these allegations that they're going to keep him. Most likely they're going to cut him. And Justin Tucker is old. It's most likely that he has played his last game in the NFL. Justin Tucker has some allegations against him. I don't want to go into what these allegations are. It has to do with massage therapy. That's enough talk about that. If you want to know more about the specifics, please go do your research on your own time. I am not Dateline. I am the 716 Playbook. All right. The Raiders have inquired about Seahawks wide receiver DK Metcalf. So the Raiders are interested in DK Metcalf. Again, who isn't interested in DK Metcalf? That would be huge, especially as a veteran role, a mentor role for some of the younger wide receivers. Stephon Diggs is a free agent, and the Texans do not want him back. So he has been linked to the Giants, Lions, Cowboys, and Ravens as a ex-Bills. how he left the Bills, I could care less what happens to Stephon Diggs when it comes to which team he goes on. But in my opinion, the most likely where he'll probably end up going is probably either Ravens, Cowboys, Lions. And I'll break that down for you real quick. Lions, they're on the cusp of going to the Super Bowl. They're almost there, having a huge breakout on the wide receiver, especially if they get their star defender back after an injury. That would be huge for the Lions to be able to break out on both sides of the ball. When it comes to the Giants need a wide receiver, fill that hole. Stephon Diggs does not want to be – Stephon Diggs might not ever go to the Lions, might never go to the Ravens because he wants to be that guy. He can't be that guy on the Lions, can't be that guy on the Ravens. They already have their guys. But on the Giants, they don't have their guy. Stephon Diggs could be that guy for the Giants, especially if Brian DeBole, who was the offensive coordinator for the Bills with Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen, that would be a huge reunited front for the Giants. And that could potentially that could be a playoff contender team, in my opinion, especially with the Giants. Their defense is not bad. When it comes to the Ravens, he would strictly join the Ravens out of spite for the Bills because the Ravens are becoming more and more woes. The Bills and Ravens are having more and more of they're seeing each other more in the regular season. They see each other in the playoffs more. It's a potential for some drama there. So, again, Stephon Diggs wants to go to a team that he knows he's going to win at. And he also knows that he can be that guy. Hard to believe that he's going to go anywhere but the Giants at this point. He's going to go somewhere where they need a wide receiver, not places where they already have one. That's my opinion, especially how he left Buffalo. It's just hard for me to believe. Travis Hunter will be listed as a cornerback. Travis Hunter used to play for the Colorado Buffaloes in college. He has now moved up for the combine. He'll be listed as a cornerback, not a wide receiver. This is huge. He played both sides of the ball. He was known for that. He wants to do it in the NFL. NFL has pretty much said, no, kid, you're only going to be able to do one side of the ball. It's not he could do it. Very unlikely for him to do it. Most teams don't operate that way anymore. But, again, he wants to be a cornerback and a wide receiver. But right now he's just listed as a cornerback. Steelers released Preston Smith. They saved $13.4 million in cap space, and they now have $54 million to work with. That is top 8th in the NFL. So congratulations to the Steelers. The world is their oyster. Again, Pittsburgh could be a threat for the Buffalo for this upcoming season in the regular season for that game, especially if it's in Pittsburgh. But it all depends on what they do this season, whether or not they keep Justin Fields, how the chemistry looks, and whether or not their coach cares more about his winning record or if they care about going and being a winning contending team. The Dolphins are releasing running back Raheem Mostert. Sad to see him go for the Dolphins, but again, they kind of have a lot of their energy in Sheen right now. So, it is what it is. Maybe that's somewhere. Buffalo doesn't really need a running back because they dropped James Cook. We get rid of him. Raheem Mostert would be a great kind of a rotating guy for our running back room. Eagles cornerback Kenny Pickett has been linked in trade rumors for the Saints and Rams. Both teams need a quarterback. Kenny Pickett, was really great with the Steelers. He's not bad at all. Just won a Super Bowl. He's looking to go do it for himself. Reuniting, not reuniting, but going and being a head quarterback again, especially on like a team that needs it, like the Saints or the Rams, would be huge. Packers are rumored to be pursuing Max Crosby and Devontae Adams, which could be a huge reunion for the both of them since they both played in LA together on the Raiders. So that would be pretty cool to kind of see what that would look like. Obviously, Green Bay more and more is becoming more and more of a contender in the NFC. So we will see what happens with the Packers as they kind of unfold in the offseason. Eagles are rumored to be deciding whether or not to get rid of James Bradbury. He is a cap casualty, as we call it. He wants to play cornerback, not a safety. So between him costing a lot of money and causing a lot of drama because he's not being put in the position that he wants to play, maybe it's good for both of them if they just walk away and move on. Keenan Allen is open to returning to Chicago with the Chargers next season. Keenan Allen might want to go back to the Chargers now that they're being more of a contender, or even go back to Chicago. Returning to Chicago, they just picked up Ben Johnson as their head coach from the Lions. That would be huge. Justin Fields wants to resign from Pittsburgh. I just reread that so bad. Justin Fields wants to re-sign with Pittsburgh, but his top landing spots are rumored to be the Jets, Saints, Raiders, and Giants if he doesn't go. Again, teams that need quarterback, Justin Fields is a great quarterback. I had no idea why the Steelers picked Russell Wilson over Justin Fields, especially when they were down so much in the playoffs against the Ravens. You should have put Justin Fields in. That's my final opinion of the matter. The Saints are deciding to move on from Derek Carr. If they are, which they most likely are, they could pick up another, they clear up a lot of cap space, save $30 million, and be able to pick up another quarterback like Justin Fields, Aaron Rodgers. The list goes on and on. Kenny Pickett. So again, who knows what's going to go there. Rams want to trade Cooper Kupp, and we'll do anything to make it happen. Top landing spot for Cooper Kupp is the Lions. Since Cooper Kupp and Jared Goff are friends, they have a lot of chemistry. They used to play together in the Rams. That would be huge. The Jets are interested in Justin Fields. The Steelers are interested in Daniel Jones. So, again, all that is coming out today. Andy Dalton has re-signed with the Panthers for 2 years, and apparently the Titans wanted Andy Dalton, and that's what made the Panthers jump on re-signing him as soon as possible. We're not even like 3 weeks or 4 weeks into the offseason for the Panthers, and they're already, I guess we're more than that now. We're maybe 2 months out from the Panthers offseason. The trade hasn't even started. Free agency really hasn't even started yet, and they already re-signed Andy Dalton for their quarterback room just because they don't want him to go to the Titans. With all that being said, I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in tonight. I apologize if what I just spewed out to you was so much. I don't really like taking up more than an hour of your time. I kind of, got lost in the sauce, as they say, and I had so much to talk about because there's so much to catch up with. Moving forward, that won't be the case because I will be able to post more throughout the week. That is the plan. So please, if you haven't already, make sure that you have bell notifications on for any platform that you're watching on. Make sure that you're commenting, make sure that you're liking, you're subscribing, and you're following to all of the accounts. Make sure that, if you don't know which accounts are there, you just rewatch the video, you look down below, and you will see all of the accounts listed, boom, 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 right there for you. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you all have a great night, and go Bills, go Buffalo, go Bandits. Have a good evening. Thank you for tuning in. This has been the 716 Playbook. One last time, if you're still on, I keep doing this, but going back to the UB men's basketball game, they are down 53-24. Second half just started. They're down 53-24. That is pretty pitiful. All right, you all have a good night.